You'd be amazed at some of the things that we encounter in our day-to-day business, the phone calls that we get from people inquiring on businesses. Someone we might have a $500,000 business that's been listed, and we start qualifying them. We say, how much money do you have? Well, I've got like 50 grand. Okay, it's like you really haven't thought this through before you picked up the phone.
Let's talk Tales.
Are you looking to sell your business or acquire a business? Today's Tales with Taylor guest is a business sales and acquisition advisor working with business owners who are ready to do just that. He also provides business valuation services. It's Jim Wilkerson. How are you doing today?
Doing great, Taylor. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for being here. This is so fun when I have people whom I've known for many years
It's been a while.
to come here in person in the flesh. So
That's great.
Pleasure.
Well, thanks for the invite.
Thank you. So tell me the tale that got you involved with Business Brokers of Arizona. There's people who try to start a business, but there's not many people who help others acquire a business or sell their business. So tell me what got you inspired to start, being a part of that.
Sure. Well, early in my career, I was a financial advisor, and I worked with business owners, helping them develop their retirement plans. Retired from that in 2011, did a bunch of different things, and then decided I was going to become a business coach to try and help people get ready for an exit. And did that with a group called My Biz Coaches for several years. And one of my marketing strategies was to get to know business brokers. What a great place to go and talk to people about our services, the perfect synergy. And so I joined the Arizona Business Brokers Association. And in there, I met Chuck Wimmer, who runs the company. He's been a business broker here in town for 25 years. He used to ex-president, won many awards. And I was talking to him about what I do. And he said, why don't you just come to my office? So I went down to his office, and we sat there and chatted. And he says, why don't you think about becoming a business broker? And it just hit me like lightning. It's like, this is perfect.
Yeah.
Really like it. And it's been a lot of fun, very enjoyable. I get a chance to meet all kinds of wonderful people, and I've got a great team.
Yeah, a lot of people hear about like real estate brokers, but a business broker doesn't feel like as common of a career path that people might think as an option. And so when you are looking to, sell a business, or if someone is looking to sell their business, what are some things that you look for, or some, even paperwork that they need to have in place?
Well, it's a somewhat complicated process to get started, but we make it easy.
Okay.
It's a process that starts with basically doing a business valuation. So business owners will reach out to us, contact us. We'll meet with them and find out what their goals are, what they're trying to accomplish, what they think their business might be worth, when they want to monetize it, et cetera. And we basically start a business valuation. And what we need to do that is we need 3 years profit and loss statements. So hopefully if someone's been keeping good books and records, not everybody does, by the way, and balance sheets and tax returns. And we keep all that information in a confidential file, so it's not to worry about it getting in the wrong hands. From that, we develop what we call a net operating income seller's discretionary earnings number. So we take all the expenses on the profit and loss. We look back 3 years for a comparison to check for trends, see if the revenues are going up, profits are going up, or likewise the other direction.
Right.
And then we add in other factors such as location, time in the business, maybe some intellectual property, things that make the business special.
Yeah.
So we factor all that in, and then what we do is we take all the different numbers on the profit and loss statement and create what we call a seller's discretionary earnings. And what that is that's basically the money that's available in the business that wouldn't be needed by a new owner. So those expenses would go away. So that number, we would assign a multiple to it. And for small businesses, which is the bread and butter for us, Main Street business is how we make our living, is 2 to 4 times earnings, 2 to 4 times that seller's discretionary earnings. So that's how we decide how to put it on the market. And a lot of it is also Chuck's discretion, Chuck Wimmer, because he knows what businesses will sell for. Because it's kind of an art when you start talking about business valuation. It's not like you go to your realtor and say, I want to sell my house. They'll look up a bunch of comps on the multiple listing service.
Probably not so apples to apples, it's a little different.
There is an art to it.
Yeah.
And so as a result, that information isn't available because these are private companies that have kept their books very private.
Yeah.
Exactly. So we have to be able to, determine a valuation so we can put it on the market for what we think it will sell for.
Do some industries value higher than other industries?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, those multiples vary across the board. And as an example, let's say an accounting practice that will typically just sell 1 times their top line revenue because they're selling their book of business.
Right.
High tech companies can sell as high as 10, 12 times that net operating earnings number or that SDE number. And most businesses, though, fall into that 2 to 4 times range. If it's a business that's under, let's say, $2 million in revenue or 500,000, under 500,000 in net operating earnings, typically is a 2 to 4 times multiple. But it varies. It varies from industry to industry. It varies on location. There's a lot of factors that are involved.
Yes, definitely. And, I know one thing that I had learned through one of my women networking organizations was to position your company to be more sellable. Like, don't have your name as the company. There's a lot of people whom are just, XYZ photographer, that person's name. Does that hold true that maybe separating your actual personal self as the name of the business will help it be more sellable?
Well, one thing that I think is universally believed by professionals in our industry is that the more involved an owner, the more dependent the business is on the owner, the less valuable it is. So removing yourself, as you said, can be a great idea. And then getting the business ready to sell for maximum valuation would involve maybe even figuring out ways to remove yourself even further.
Right.
And most business owners haven't taken the time to do that. They're in the whirlwind. They're in the maelstrom every day of running their business. They don't have time to do that, or maybe haven't even thought about how that works. And so we can help them with that. If somebody comes in and says, "I want to sell," and we'd give them a number. We say, "We think we could sell your business for $400,000." They'll say, "Well, I thought it was going to be worth $1 million."
Yeah.
So, well, every seller thinks their business is worth more than it is.
Well, it's their own baby. It's like saying it's an ugly baby.
Right,
You don't say
exactly.
that.
But there are things that they can do, and so we send them away with a list of things that they can do to help make their business more valuable. And that's what I did when I was a business coach. Help coach people through that on a retainer basis for maybe months at a time, so that they can reach those goals.
What would you say was the most consistent issue you saw? What was the most consistent, suggestion you gave to people to up the value of their business?
Systems, something in writing.
Yeah.
When you buy a Subway or you buy a franchise, what do you get? You get the book, and it has everything in there. How to hire, how to price, where you're, get your suppliers. If more you can document that, and it's even involved would be like selling and marketing systems as well. So if you can document every part of your business, so that somebody else can step in there a lot more easily and take it on without any disruption of the business flow, all of a sudden your business is more valuable.
Yeah. 2025 would mark 11 years of Financial Potion being in business. And I would say it wasn't until, 2023 did we really start thinking about writing down the SOPs.
Sure.
Because you're right. You're just doing, going, training this little bit of this person that needs to know this little bit, training this little bit of that person that needs to know what that bit is. And then you're like, what if we did go away for 3 weeks? Would it break? Yes. Right. The answer should be no. And so it's a matter of how much can you lock down even in the nitty gritty details. So then that way, if you were to leave, things still operate.
Well, it's interesting. We'll get buyers that come in and say, "Well, I like to buy a business that I can just basically oversee."
Right.
And my response is almost always, "Well, there really is no such thing as a truly absentee business. It doesn't exist."
Right.
So even if you have created those systems so you can have people in place that you've delegated those responsibilities to, you still have to oversee that too as well.
Right. Yeah. Unless I guess you have a product of sorts, like being a SaaSpreneur, maybe if the client just purchases the product, that's the only time that you do have any hands off, but you still have distribution. You still there's still support. There's tech, there's so many other things.
Right. And there's so many passive income models out there that you see advertised on the web. And I get my Facebook feed, how to make $10,000 a month, just set and forget.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it works for some people, and it can, and that business model does exist, but not in corporate America,
Right.
not in Main Street America, where people have jobs and they have employees, etc.
And so for people who are looking to purchase and acquire a business, what are some things you like to look for? What should people have in place, other than money, to acquire a business?
Well, typically, if they have some experience in the business, it goes a long way.
Mm-hmm.
And that's part of my job, is to find the right fit, so that the seller can meet the people and say, I like these people.
Yeah.
I think that when I hand my employees off to them, they're going to get along well. My customers will like them.
Mm-hmm.
That's really first and foremost, because here's this business owner who's, like you said, sweat, blood, and tears for 25, maybe longer than that, to get his business to where it is. And then selling his business and keeping that legacy is very important to people like that.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest part of it. Having capital, as you said, maybe even having pre-approved yourself with a small business administration loan, a lender.
Mm-hmm.
If you're thinking you want to be going in with a loan of some sort.
Mm-hmm.
Really, that's kind of about it. It's not that much other than just having an interest in the business and wanting to move forward.
That's amazing. So so if someone just had a desire to, be a business owner, but didn't have any of their own ideas, they could just go to you and see kind of what jives with them the most, what excites them the most. Is that kind of what you're saying?
Kind of, yeah. I mean, but
or would it be more acquiring to add on to your own book of business? Like myself, if there was, a photography company, would that make more sense as a business owner? What could you acquire to enhance your own book of business already in line with your business goals?
Oh yeah, growth through acquisition is much easier than trying to do it grassroots.
Yes.
And so if you can find the right fit, and you can increase your top line by 20% by buying a company,
right?
And the numbers make sense, and there's a return on investment, which we help provide all that information for the analysis.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of math involved.
Lots of math. I'm feeling like I need my son here. He's so good at math.
Well, good for you. That's great. Most kids aren't.
He loves playing Monopoly. He, is figuring out the total for Scrabble faster than I can.
That's great.
Crazy. Yeah, it's amazing.
That's good. Wonderful.
So tell me, what is your favorite tale you've ever heard or read? So what's your favorite book or favorite movie?
Oh, I have so many. I've always liked adventure. I was a big Missioner fan when he was writing Hawaii and Centennial and all those books back in the day. Dating myself. So books like that, novels. I remember when Lonesome Dove first came out in a book form.
Yeah.
Everybody in our friendship circle read it and loved it. And then here we go, 5-10 years later, it's turned into a movie. And then 25 years later, it's still on TV.
Right. Well, that's how most great stories are. They're going to get transitioned into a movie eventually. And then maybe the movie will turn into a TV series. Hollywood doesn't want to be that creative anymore.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like repurposing their same content. It's like you do when you're making your videos for people.
It's what we do with marketing, It's sit here, do one conversation, make it into a whole bunch of pieces. Let's leverage our time the fullest. But I think in the world of creatives, they can try to think of some more unique stories.
Right.
And then if you were to write a book, what would be the title of that tale?
Oh boy. I think I would call it Deal Days, like DAZE.
Oh.
You'd be amazed at some of the things that we encounter in our day-to-day business, the phone calls that we get from people inquiring on businesses. Mm-hmm. We might have a $500,000 business that's been listed, and we start qualifying them. And so, how much money do you have? Well, I've got like $50,000. Okay, it's like you really haven't thought this through before you picked up.
Sounds also like my son. He's like, "Whoa, how much is the business? Like $1,000?" What?
And just crazy stuff that happens during the course of a transaction. Mm-hmm. People get cold feet. Different things happen. All different kinds of emotional items come up in people's, as they're getting closer and closer to having the deal consummate. Yeah. I changed my mind. I just can't do this now. Like within 2 weeks of the sale supposed to close, we've had that happen, and we understand. It's like our job is to try to do the best we can for the people to make their lives better.
Because Ever since you kind of talked like, I don't know why I didn't connect before, but just the comparison of, the real estate broker and this business broker and just the emotions that you have to deal with. Like you also should have, like, you're not just brokers, you're also like psychiatrists, I feel, because, when it comes to selling your home, you think your home's perfect. Even that weird corner, that's that weird shape. You should appreciate that weird shape, in the business. I'm sure there's some nuances that maybe people appreciate in the business because it's their baby that other people don't appreciate as much. And then that's hard to hear that your value is, being reflected because of that.
Or the person that comes in and says, well, my accountant told me my business is worth $1 million. Well, how many businesses has your accountant sold?
Yeah. Right. And then, that'd be a hard pill to swallow, I bet.
It is for some people. And they say, I just tell them, when you're ready to talk, let me know. If there's things you want to do to get there, we could help you do that too. So it's your choice. So
tell me the tale of one of your most exciting deals that you've done that you're allowed to talk about.
Oh boy. I had when I first started, I had a very, very small dog walking and pet sitting business.
Aw, hey, that's a need.
And they did very well. The husband and wife ran it for 10 or 15 years. They had a great brand. They were making good money on a steady basis. And I actually got a call from a woman in Chicago who was thinking about moving out to Arizona. And she came out here and they connected, and she actually worked for him for a while and enjoyed it so much she decided to just go ahead and buy the business. So that was pretty cool.
That is very cool. And Arizona being such a big relocation hub, I feel, when, I'm a transplant, like there's so many people who are transplants into this state.
Yeah.
It's nice that you're giving people options. You have an option of, okay, you might have this business or this type of job here and you want to pursue it more in Arizona, reach out to you ahead of time. Lock things down before you're even in the state. That's excellent.
And we get calls from people on a regular basis on listings that we have that are out there. We typically, when we take a listing, we would put it on 10 or 12 different websites that they're like multiple listing services for real estate. And then we advertise it also to maybe a synergistic buyer category. As an example, we have a listing right now for a screen printing and embroidery business. Great little business. Yeah. So what did I do? I found out every other screen printing and embroidery business in Arizona and reached out to them and told them that if you're thinking about growing through acquisition, blah, blah, blah. So that's part of the marketing service that we do. And in addition, over the years, we've got almost 6,000 people, qualified buyers in our database.
Wow.
Yeah. So we've got a lot of people we can show your stuff to.
That is very cool. And that's very smart too, to just, again, the growth through acquisition, to think about, okay, maybe there's this West Valley, screen printing. Well, here's something on the East Valley. Hey, do you want to have something? And they already have all the equipment. They already have, the space. They have all of those assets that could just keep running.
And they have the staff that can step in there and maybe manage it. Interesting on this situation, I've had calls from screen printing businesses all over the country. Thinking about setting up in Arizona. Oh, okay, well, here you go. There's an opportunity for you. And that goes on all the time.
Okay. So you are business brokers of Arizona because you work within the state of Arizona. But that, again, if you are someone out of state wanting to have a business in Arizona, reach out to you. Right,
exactly. Take a look and see what we have, and we'll be happy to talk with you and let you know of what we can do to help.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
So tell me the tale of young Jim. What was it that you wanted to do when you were, 10 years old? What was going to be your dream?
I played baseball like your son.
What was your position?
I played first base.
Oh, very nice.
And I did a lot of sports in high school. And my uncle, growing up, he was basically a college, an athletics scholarship at U of A as a pole vaulter.
Oh, cool.
And so when I got to West High, when I was going to high school, somebody said, well, there's a track team. And I went out there to the field, and guess what? There was a pole vault pit. And so I picked up a pole and ran down there and killed myself the first time, and then I couldn't stop. And so long story short, I ended up getting my own scholarship up at NAU. And then after that, I actually qualified for the Olympic trials in 1980. So I was a jock, and that was my passion for many years. I've coached a lot of pole vaulters at the high school level here in town, different high schools, Brophy and Arcadia. So yeah, that was the young Jim up until I got married and had to get a job.
Yeah. The pole vaulting can only pull you so far, huh?
Right, exactly.
That's very interesting. I have not met a pole vaulter, so it just seems like
terrified of that. Whenever we would do track and field like activities, I would stay far, far away from that. That scared me.
Yeah. Well, now it's amazing. It's the females in the sport have really, there's a ton of them now. It's taken on a big, big presence.
Yeah.
And they're very good athletes.
My goodness. And now with the whole like NIL deals and things like that, like that scholarship could have been some good money for you back then.
Exactly.
If it was now.
Right. That didn't exist. You had to be an amateur in those days.
Yes, that's amazing. Although I don't know how I feel about I like the idea of college kids getting paid somewhat, but I don't love how much. Like, I feel like they still need to be student athletes and be students and be kids. And I'm fearing just seeing even with like Little League, like and how serious parents are getting, I feel like they're seeing dollar signs too much. You know, telling your 6-year-old they should be practicing every day and playing baseball year round. I'm like,
well, you can burn them out, you know, and
exactly.
It's got to be fun, or they're
fun.
not going to go out there and play. But you know, my concern when I hear stories from coaches at the college level is trying to keep these kids grounded.
Yeah.
A lot of them start to get an attitude. They start to think that they're, you know, like king of the hill, and they are great athletes, a lot of them. But by the same token, you know, like you said, when sports is over, then what?
Then what? Yeah. Well, it sounds like they should connect with you, Business Brokers of Arizona, to at the least acquire a business. Because, you know, when you look at a lot of these athletes, the ones that are doing it right, like think about the Shaquille O'Neals. Like he was always with a business mindset.
Sure.
Of, you know, what can I do to better my brand? What business? Like he has hands in so many like different businesses.
Great investor, smart guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you think about it, it's so much easier to you know, acquire than it is to start one.
Yeah,
I mean, you know, if you ever heard of a woman named Cody Sanchez, she's an influencer all over the place. She actually went to Arcadia. She's from Arizona, and she's been preaching this story about, you know, don't start a business, buy a business, because that's very true. It's you think about starting from nothing. You know, most businesses don't make it past 3 years.
Yeah.
And if they do, you know, to get to a meaningful profit margin, maybe to get to a $500,000 a year business can take, you know, 5 to 10 years. And so the statistics are pretty poor when you look at, you know, the businesses that actually survived that started up.
No, that's so true. You need a whole lot of passion.
It's all, yeah. And it's got, everything's got to go right.
Yeah.
And you're going to have you know, down days and down weeks and unexpected surprises. So that's just part of the deal.
Yes. And I do say too, like, you can't lose if you don't give up. So that's one thing as a business owner, if you're struggling and things. But, you know, if you are someone who has capital, wants to have a business, yeah, definitely. I could imagine if there was a way I could have just jumped into like right now where my business is comparative to where it was when it first started. Yeah, just the process is the thing.
How long did it take you to get to this point?
Well, like I said, we was probably like 7 years before we really started, 7, 8 years before we started documenting our SOPs and, you know, having, you know, more trusted team members to truly delegate.
Really have a business at that point.
Yeah, exactly. It was just a very glorified full-time job for the longest time.
Well, you should be proud of yourself. You've hung in there and done a great job.
Well, thank
You're
you
a great
so
asset
much.
to the community too.
Oh, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you so very much. No, I do love what I get to do. I get to meet so many different people like yourself, like similar to what you get to do and meeting so many different industries and different businesses and people. That's when everyone asks me what's my favorite part of what I get to do, it's this. It's that getting to know other people, hearing their other stories, you know.
Get to meet a lot of really wonderful people with varied backgrounds. So that's the most fun part of this job.
Yeah,
is meeting the people and then learning the stories. You know, I do the same kind of interviews that you're doing here with me.
Yeah.
Tell me how you started. Why did you start?
And you need to understand their value. Like, what is their differentiator in the industry? And, you know, I feel like I get to learn so many processes along the way of, you know, even just like chiropractic care to taking care of your car that I just feel like game show trivia ready at any point. Just all the random information I have. Well, this is awesome. So tell me, what's your favorite animal with a tail?
Animal with a tail?
Yeah, because it's tails of Taylor. Sometimes I like to get a little punny with my questions.
Well, I'm a big fisherman, so I say, you know, probably fish.
Okay, well, now I needed to hear the tale of your best catch.
Well, we've caught a lot of marlin. My brother has a boat that keeps in San Carlos, so we do a lot of deep sea fishing and catch the big ones.
Cool. Never done a deep sea fishing. I've only just done, you know, by the creek.
Yep.
Back east by the creek, you know.
And so we had a place in Rocky Point in Shoya Bay for the whole time I was growing up.
Oh, wow.
My grandfather had a boat, and so he always took us out, and we learned how to catch the fish there too. So
oh, wow.
now I have the wonderful experience of being able to teach my grandsons how to do it.
That is awesome. That's
Yeah.
cool. So how like big is typically, like, because they seem like they can get pretty big.
Well, marlin come up to, they get to be, 100, 200, 300, 400 pounds.
Wow.
Tuna, my brother has caught some 500-pound tunas, 8 feet long. And
That's amazing.
and then some of the bottom fish, some of the like the groupers and the bass and the
Yeah.
things that you see that in the restaurants, they get to be 200 or 300 pounds.
They can be huge. I remember the Chesapeake Bay. There was this huge bass. It went inside of like the Bass Pro Shop. It was like the thing to see back east.
Right.
Oh, that was amazing. Yeah. For myself, my fishing experience is not that cool. Like I said, it was just by the river, by my neighborhood. We would catch little sunnies,
Sure.
maybe a catfish, and a lot of like water eels, which was great.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it would always freak us out because we were so afraid it was a water moccasin, which is like a really mean snake.
Yeah.
And then we're like, it's just another eel. So, yeah, in
Well,
the
they don't
woods.
have those out here in Arizona.
No, I grew up in, rural, kind of suburb, rural Maryland. So,
Uh-huh.
we had the Potomac River in the backyard. And
Oh,
so you
what
just
fun.
go to the woods and
Yeah.
try not to get poison ivy. That's another thing I'm so happy my son doesn't have to deal with here. My kids, they don't have to deal with poison ivy. I don't have to teach them that.
Right.
Just have to teach them don't lift rocks.
Right.
Because around here we definitely have different types of creepy crawlies.
Yeah, they sting and bite.
Yes, yeah, no fun. This has been so good, Jim. How would people get a hold of you if they are looking to buy or sell a business?
Well, first thing, probably go look at our website. It's BBAZ, Business Brokers of Arizona, BBAZ.com. All of our information is on there. We have all of our listings on there. And anytime, if you're interested in looking to see what we have, reach out and give us a call. Happy to help you. If you're thinking about selling, thinking about acquiring, just pick up the phone.
Yeah. So, and it sounds like too, you're very open into just like if someone's just inquiring information. I think sometimes we're afraid to pick up the phone and call people because it's like, oh, I'm not ready yet. But
Well,
even
right.
if you need to know, if you need to know what you need to be ready, or even to just have an evaluation, just so you even have a baseline.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It sounds like just pick up the phone.
Yeah, don't be afraid. I mean, we're happy to help, and an education is part of what we provide, and happy to do it. That's the most fun part of this job.
Yeah, and you can see that Jim is just such a pleasure to talk to, so easy to talk to. So, if you have questions
You're
about
nice.
your business and questions just about, is buying or selling, he's definitely someone to talk to.
Well, thank you, Taylor.
You're very welcome. So if you were to leave just, one message for everyone, what would be your final message?
Just do the right thing. Treat people well. I think that's the cornerstone of anybody's business is to people first.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a good credo to live by. That's the one I try to do.
Definitely. Yeah. No matter what industry you're in, you're actually in the industry of customer service.
You're in the people business.
You're in the people business. So treat people the way you want to be treated and treat yourself also well too. Don't forget about treating yourself well too.
Absolutely.
And so thank you so much for coming here on Tales with Taylor. This was again, Jim Wilkerson of Business Brokers of Arizona. If you're looking to buy, sell, or just get an evaluation on your business, talk to this wonderful man right here.
Oh, thank you, Taylor. Appreciate that.
No problem.
Thank you for watching Tales with Taylor. Please make sure you like and subscribe to the Financial Potion YouTube channel to never miss an episode.